the Greek ambassador Megasthenes.
Mm-hmm.
He reports a tradition that he found in India, that Manu, the ancestor, which he calls, I think, Dionysus, that he lived in 6776 BCE. That's not how he calls it, of course. He lived before Christ. He was no Christian. But I mean, that's the equivalent. And in that case, what could have happened, and here we get another hybrid, what then could have happened is that effectively the Indo-Europeans came in through Iran into India, and then you get Manu. One of them, you see, starts the city of Ayodhya, starts the Solar Dynasty, and so on. And so the whole Aryan history starts as far as India is concerned, and maybe more, because maybe they came from there. But then the whole out of India story is still true, is still valid. And so from India, then still people leave for Greece, leave for Iran, and so on. So that's one possible scenario. Here it's getting heady and interesting. But so, no final word. So if any young people are watching and wondering what they're going to do with their lives, be the one who has the last word on this.
Yeah, that's a great thing. And talking of kings and kingless, there is also an account in, I think, Diodorus Siculus,
Yes.
Which says that the Assyrian king Semiramis tried to attack India.
Yes.
So, I mean, how true is that? Is that that is certainly a possibility, but
yes,
I don't know.
Of course, and I mean, India was a great prize. Back then already, India had the reputation of being very wealthy, but and of having the most beautiful women. But it's like hard to do from Assyria with an army as far as India. Of course, it's only like 2 centuries before the Achaemenid Empire gets created, which also has a very sweeping conquest from like Afghanistan to ultimately to Egypt. So it's not impossible. I don't know of any hard evidence for it.
Yeah. Because I think as far as timelines go, that sort of fits in with the advent of the Iron Age in India, if I'm not wrong. So, I mean, that could offer some interesting insights if we can find corresponding archaeology or whatever.
Well, I don't know about iron. So iron was discovered starting to be wrought, to be worked in about 2200 in South India. Now it takes some time before it reaches North India, but at any rate, still much earlier than has so far always been said.
Okay. Yeah, you did mention earlier that...
Certainly before Semiramis.
Okay. And in this context, there is the actual dark age in India that Dr. B.B. Lal talked about. That is between the decline of the Harappan cities and to the time of the Buddha.
Yes.
I mean, that dark age is not known, from text or whatever. Do you think there's a possibility that this will be...
That's the next thing. I mean, just temperamentally, I get drawn to like the most extreme investigations or earliest history. And so this dark age comes later. I've paid little attention to that.
Okay.
But it is, of course, transposition of the Greek Dark Age, where in history we do have a period of no writing. Originally, the Mycenaeans had a script in which they reported on like events like the Trojan War, which later gets turned into an epic. But so they lose that in probably the Bronze Age collapse, as they call it, and then they start writing again, borrowing the alphabet from the Phoenicians. So there is a period where they lose their literacy. And so you see, this may have been the case in India. What you do see is you apparently have literacy in the Harappan period, though we haven't so far read these texts.
And there are no long inscriptions either.
Right. Yeah, that's why some say it's not even a script. But still, you know, this went out of use, and then you get the Brahmi script and then all the later ones. So some people argue, I think that is Yajna Devam's case, that clearly the Brahmi script is an evolute of the Harappan script. So might be, but at any rate, you do notice, you know, you don't find anything. Suddenly, like 300 BC, you get a, you know, enormous growth of writing. You have the Buddhist canon, for example. So that again, you see, seems to support this impression of a dark age followed by new writing, which is therefore also related to not necessarily a migration of human beings, but certainly a migration of ideas. So it's a foreign script that then generates the Brahmi script.
Yes.
And so, and which, you know, chronologically fits with the Persian empires annexing a little bit of India. So they use, interestingly, after they conquer Babylon, they take the language from there and use that as the language of administration of their whole empire. You know, apparently they had this idea of superiority of Babylon, and that therefore this was the natural capital, you know, the natural source of our culture, and that therefore they just took the language. So that was Aramaic, and therefore you have several theories that Brahmi stems from Aramaic. And is that what you're up against if you want to argue? No, it comes from the Saraswati script.
Yes, and I may add that at the National Museum here in Delhi, there is actually a panel where people have delineated how each one of those Indus symbols actually evolves into one of the current Devanagari and even southern letters. So, I mean, but research has to be, much more research has to be done on that front, right? Yeah, but that won't tell us about the origin and dispersal of Indo-European languages much. It will only tell us about the evolution of the Brahmi script.